Hi, third graders. Today we are going to be working on sequencing. Sequencing is when we put events in a story, an article, a newspaper, or directions in order. So think about when you are making a bowl of cereal. So step number one would be to get out your supplies. You need to get a spoon out, a bowl out. You need to get all of the ingredients out, such as milk and the type of cereal that you want. And then you are going to need to pour your cereal, right? That's step two. Step one is to get all the materials. Step two is to actually pour the cereal in the bowl. Step three would be to pour the milk in the bowl. And step four would be to put everything away. So put the milk back in the refrigerator and the cereal back into the cupboard. And then step five would be to enjoy your bowl of cereal. So think of sequencing as like putting things in order, okay? So we are going to look on our journeys, in our journeys book. Okay, so go get your journeys book, please, and turn to page 405 with me. Pause this video until you have it. Okay, now that you have it, we are going to read this page together. 405. That is the page that I'm on, page 405. The science of sports engineering. Some sports engineers study the way athletes move when they play different sports. An engineer might watch a soccer player to see how the player's foot strikes the ball. This can lead to ideas about soccer shoes, the soccer ball, or even the soccer field. Engineers use these ideas to improve the game in some way. The first step for a sports engineer is to identify a problem in a sport, something to be improved. Almost anything can be improved. Then the sports engineer comes up with a possible solution. Next, he or she creates a model. The model may include a new kind of material. The new idea is then tested in a laboratory to see how well it works. Finally, the new product is tested by athletes. If it works well, soon athletes around the world will start using it. Perfect. So this page is all about sports engineering, as the head of the page says. This is the header. And sports engineers, some of them study the way that athletes move when they're playing different sports like baseball, football, soccer, softball, any sport, golf, tennis, you name it. And an engineer tries to think about how that person can make a sport even better. Okay, so we are going to sequence the events in a flow chart that looks like this. We're going to sequence the events on how engineers improve a sport. Okay, so we're going to put in order the ways that a sports engineer can make a sport better. And then after this, you're going to do your own sequencing activity on Seesaw. Not this one, but you'll be doing a different one. But first, I need you to watch the lesson, okay? Just like in class, you listen to your teacher. That's the first thing you do. And then you do the work, okay? So you need to make sure you're listening to the lesson. I promise it won't be that long, and then you can do the work on your own. So think, what is step one for a sports engineer to how does a sports engineer fix a sport? What is the first step? Well, if you are thinking that sports engineer needs to identify a problem in the sport and look for something to be improved, then you are correct. So the first step, I'm going to write down the first step is to identify a problem in a sport and see how it can be fixed. So maybe a sports engineer is watching a football game, and the sports engineer, that person notices a problem maybe in the way that the ball is designed, a football. Maybe they see how how an athlete kicks the ball in soccer and notices a problem within it. That sports engineer can then identify a problem. They see the problem, and then they try to think about how it can be fixed. Okay? All right, so that is step one. What do you think the second step would be? I'm looking in this paragraph right here, by the way, to find my answers. It says, then the sports engineer comes up with a possible solution. Okay? A solution is the answer to a problem. That is the way that a problem can be fixed. So next, when we're sequencing, we're using words like first, next, then, last. We use those kind of sequencing words. So next, the sports engineer comes up with a possible solution. It doesn't mean the solution will work. It just means that they're going to try to use that solution and see if it works. So they just coming up with a possible solution, and they will then later on test it to see if it works. It's kind of like a science experiment. Not everything works out the way that you hope it would. But next, the sports engineer comes up with a possible solution to fix that problem. What is the next one? Well, it says, next, he or she creates a model. The model may include a new kind of material. So a model is like if you are designing something really big, you would make just like a small version of it. It's like a little model of it. So they'll make like a 3D version of it, or they might even make a model on a laptop, like a computer. So the next thing, I'm going to say then. I'm going to keep using my transition words. Then he or she creates a model of the solution. And last, let's see, what do you think is last? It says, finally, the new product is tested by athletes. If it works well, soon athletes around the world will start to use it. So finally, they test it, okay? They test it by athletes. So if they're trying to fix a problem in football, they actually test it with football players. So finally, or last, it's another transition word. Last, the solution is tested by athletes. To see if it works. Because it may not work. And then you know what? If it doesn't work, then they have to start all the way back over at the beginning of the flow chart. So that is the last step. Okay? So you're going to be doing your own sequencing flow chart just like this one, except you're going to be using a different topic. So you will be looking on page 407, at the way that a tennis ball is created. So you will have to read page 407 and you will record the steps that it takes to make a tennis ball. So that's what you'll be doing in Seesaw. Okay, so I hope that you all enjoyed this lesson. And maybe before you do your Seesaw assignment, you could take a little break, or you could do, a really good challenge would be to do 50 jumping jacks in 30 burpees. I wonder if you can do that. I know I have some students in my class that I think could be up for that challenge. So before you do the Seesaw assignment, if you want to do that quick brain break and movement activity, you're more than welcome to do that. I hope you are all having a great day, and I will see you later. Bye.